Lane is the leader. Down the outside is Twiglet. Look at Superimpose. He's come through between horses. He's going to do it. It's history at Randwick.
Yep, that was one of his two Epsom wins, Superimpose, and I don't think we've seen a greater crowd pleaser in post-war years. Well, as you know, Simon O'Donnell's talents on the cricket pitch and on the football paddock are well documented, but I happen to know his real passion is thoroughbred horse racing. He's in Sydney, and this is the first time we've had the pleasure of doing this segment, duo, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it's great to be up here and live and having a good time, and what a day we had yesterday.
Good to see you, mate. Did you back a winner? Oh, first up, race 2 at Sandown, Chiricahua, which you purchased as a yearling here in Sydney.
Had the first one get over the line, John, and we're pretty, we think there's a fair future for the horse, so we're very, very happy at the moment.
He's by Canny Lad?
Canny Lad out of Miss Geronimo, and I had a yarn to Bob Ingham yesterday at the races. He was very happy for Canny Lad's point of view, and we're very happy from the stable point of view.
Any ambitious plans?
Plenty.
Yeah, good boy. Sandown Guineas, maybe?
Possibly.
OK. Well, Simon, let's have a look at the Spring Champion Stakes, the first of the Group 1ers at Royal Randwick yesterday. This horse amazes me. At the 600, he was off the bit and really labouring, but when Shane Dye got stuck into him, he charged down the outside. He went past Stork and Catalan Opening as they were tied to the fence. He's a huge horse by Dane Hill. He gives the tail a bit of a flick as he comes to the line in the last 30 or 40 metres. Will he run 1.5 miles? He'll run 4 miles. Nothing like a Dane beat Super Slew and the red colours down the outside to get second, and Catalan Opening third. What do you think of him?
I don't think you get much more impressive than that over 2,000 metres. The disappointing run in the race obviously was Flying Spur. He really over-raced sort of the first 800,000 metres, but I do think Lee Freedman, he's a bit of a genius around horses. He'll get him right and we'll see more of him.
Lee can't wait to get him back to Melbourne, apparently.
No, he won't be able to wait to get him back to Melbourne, but I think he's got a mind of his own a little bit, the horse. The horse was very relaxed yesterday, didn't quite go on with it, but he will.
Simon, have you ever seen a horse earn $102,000 easier than Stony Bay did in the Craven Plate? He led throughout, as he usually does, and halfway down the straight he's drifting out towards the middle of the track into the fast lane, and he's put about 5 lengths on them. His stablemate Protara's Bay is the big grey horse coming down the extreme outside, and Desert Chill in the white colours, Brisbane Cup winner this year, boxing on well, but he didn't raise a sweat, Stony Bay, and he's in the Metropolitan tomorrow up to his ears. Protara's Bay's not far off a win either.
No, Protara's Bay, you've got to be happy with the way it's finished off the 2,000 metres. I really think, look, Stony Bay, it's one right out of the box. I can see it being very predominant right through the spring, and I think Gay Waterhouse is in for a big, big spring.
He cost $120,000 as a tried horse in New Zealand. I think he's won more than $1 million already.
I think they've got that and a little bit more back already.
Yeah, he's been a real bargain,
very good horse. Very good horse.
Well, Simon, big one. This is a big one, the Cannon Epsom. A huge field, and your opening shot will take your breath away as they come over the ground level camera near the 800-metre crossing, and Jackie Share had Dane Win in front. I thought he rode with a lot of flair and a lot of imagination yesterday. He gave himself a hope, Jackie Share. Final tempo second. Nick's Joy about to move into second spot with the yellow sleeves and the quartered cap. Hedges further out on the track, followed by Sprint By, My Diamond Rouge, and Juggler still well back. Over the rise, Dane Win the leader. Jackie hasn't gone for him yet. Now he does as Nick's Joy ranges alongside. They quickly put 2 lengths or more on My Diamond Rouge. Sprint By made a quick little dash and then he was struggling. Down the outside in red colours is Vital Consent, and on the right side of screen with a white cap, look at Juggler starting to charge home, but it's Nick's Joy and Chrissy Munch hard to the line to win the Epsom over Dane Win and Juggler third.
Yeah, well, it's the first time I've seen the Epsom Mile, and it was just a fantastic race. I thought it was full of merit for Jackie Chandler, a lot of pressure going out of there yesterday. Coming out of 22, he had the job in front of him. He rode, I think, a lovely tactical race, but in the end, Nick's Joy just had a little bit too much under the bonnet.
A real fairy tale story. The owner, Mr. Nick Sipka, after whom the horse is named, watched the race from his sickbed, and trainer Johnny Shord, an ex-Cootamundra man, has been at Warwick Farm for 10 years, mostly with ordinary horses. In fact, he's only got one other horse in work apart from Nick's Joy. So it was a lovely story.
I reckon he's probably, might have been in his sickbed. He's probably run 24 miles today. But we caught up with the jockey afterwards as well.
Yes, a very excited Chris Muntz.
Absolute dream run?
It was, mate, yeah. You know, like he come out of his good gate and he travelled lovely, and I knew once I was following Dane Win, I knew at least he'd pull me into the race, and it was just a matter of whether I was good enough to overpower him. Fortunately enough, I was.
A lot of people were saying that the inside barrier was going to be a disadvantage because a lot of the races beforehand it had favoured the outside barriers.
It did seem that way, and I mean, if you go back through history also, it seemed to have favoured all the outside barriers. But the thing in his favour was, I mean, he is a natural, bold, free-running horse, and he was basically able to take advantage of his #1 posse.
Chris, so when did you think that you had the race in your keeping?
Mate, look, a race like that, you never really know till you pass the winning post, but I can assure you, topping the rise, I was pretty confident.
So you've come back to Sydney and you've proven yourself a big Group 1 race.
Yeah, mate, they're always nice to win the group races, you know, and especially in Epsom Handicap, that was sort of a race I'd like to have won. Basically, I thought I'd be riding Brave Warrior here today, but unfortunately he's not, but, you know, I've picked up the winner.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, Michael Maher with Chris Munce. He's a little bloke about 4'9" in the old. Whenever I interview him, I feel like John Wayne, fair dinkum.
Yeah, well, he's got a hell of a big heart, and look, you can't mistake that ride yesterday. It was interesting to see Jackie Chi, that last sort of 300. I reckon he's been practising on the old chaff bag because he was able to get a little bit more vigour into his riding.
I think the horse was doing his utmost, Dane Wynn.
He certainly was. We'll hear a lot more.
You'll see him in Melbourne soon.
We certainly will.
Now, the Flight Stakes, 3-year-old fillies, Group 1, a lovely cold ride by Glenn Boss on the Clary Connors train, Pontal Lass. Now, she's buried in the ruck in the cerise with the white cap as they come over the rise. Glenn switching between horses now, and Seattle Gem is being tackled by Tripping on the outside. Pontal Lass barges up near the fence to take the lead as they get near home. Shame is running on strongly, but it's all Pontal Lass, the best tail swisher in the business. She draws away to beat Tripping. Shame is third, and I sold her a battling fourth, Simon. She must be needing it further.
Yeah, certainly needing further, but Pontal Lass, I think you've got to also look, all the winners, mainly the winners yesterday, came down the middle or outside of the track. Now, she's come through along the inside and still won the race, so there's probably a little bit more left in her.
OK, mate, well, I think time's gone, as it usually is. Lovely to be with you on set. I was going to buy you lunch. I'm sorry to hear you've got another commitment.
Yes, mate, got another appointment, but we'll be back bigger and better next year.
OK, mate.
OK, still to come on today's show, all the results, and from around the world, I should say, and our plays of the week.